Hi there, it's Kevin with Gone Rogue Games. Another video for Flesh and Blood this time, for Dusk of Dawn, for good old patron Tabien. Wants me to crack this Dusk Till Dawn. I haven't played Flesh and Blood in quite some time. I believe this game continues to be very strong, and the sales are pretty good with it. It seems like this is the one company that I can say kudos to because they found a good rhythm of actually meeting supply and demand, not overprinting, not underprinting, doing events properly, as well as making sure that a community is cultivated at your local scene. So, shoutouts where shoutouts are deserved with a company that I absolutely think is doing it correctly. So, Flesh and Blood, Legendary Studios, you're knocking it out of the park with your game. Now, I wish I had locals to play with. We did play Flesh and Blood for Monarch through Tales of Aria here locally, I think right before Monarch, and then it just kind of died off. So unfortunately, I live in a very rural area. It's hard for us to get anything besides Pokemon and Magic to be played here. But I do like this game a lot. It's pretty fun back and forth. The sequencing in this game is bar none the best of its type. And it's got a pretty good skill level curve of it is a little intimidating. That's why they have the 16 plus on here. Guess people don't need to see my ugly mug anymore. So I think that's the one thing of Flesh and Blood. I think it's just it's more of a niche game than some of the other ones. Like Pokemon, of course, it has a very wide audience of people that play the game, collect the game, and can appeal to both young and old. Magic Gathering, same thing. It's what makes Magic the Gathering so beautiful is it's fun at every level, beginner, intermediate, expert, pro. It's fun all the way through. And it kind of flirts with advancing in those, getting better and whatnot. But people that stay casual love it, and people that stay competitive love it. So Flesh and Blood, unfortunately, I think it really hits the spot of competitive players. Like this is definitely a gamer's game. So that's the one thing that Flesh and Blood has going for it. And they really need to lean in on it. So, anyway, we'll just go get to opening these Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know what I'm looking for in this because it's been forever since I've played this game. And I know this isn't the latest set, but this is the one that we are opening. And we'll just get kind of the rares here to see. I think they're at the back now, right? With Dusk Till Dawn. So we have the Deathly Whale, which is a Shadow Runeblade action. So is Chain been banned yet? I'm not sure. Or what's kind of cool with Flesh and Blood is they get sunlighted, like when they retire when they win a certain amount of pro games or tournaments. They get retired. So there have been some characters that have been retired, and so how that balances it, they'll just make another one, a new character in that, like the Shadow Runeblade class to. And that will balance it. That's the way of them, never banning cards. And even though they have banned some cards, they can just let something win a few tournaments and then it can retire. And that's how they can balance the format. So, interesting concept with Flesh and Blood. Again, I haven't played any sort of competitive level, but I played enough Flesh and Blood to kind of understand the mechanics. And it is a really, really fun game. So, highly encourage you, if you are in more of a gamer's game. And they like to say this is like a fighting game meets a card game. And there is a lot of back and forth in this game. One of the things that I'm not liking about Lorcana and some of these other games that come out is like new games, like they like fear the stack, which is what I think makes Magic. And like I'm just so bored with Lorcana. Like Lorcana was fun, and it's still fun to like kind of create decks. There's not a lot of pieces to work with at the moment. You can tell they're flirting with other stuff in the future of having like, items matter more. But all in all, without the stack, it's such a less complex game. And that's where, again, Flesh and Blood has an edge over many other games, is it does have that sort of stack, you interacting with your opponent and bluffing. And bluffing is a huge part of card games. That's why Magic is what people call chess meets poker, because you do have that bluffing aspect. And in Lorcana, there's no bluffing at all. I mean, you can say, I'm exerting this, and when I should be holding this back might be like a bluff because I can do something next turn. No, you are basically telegraphing all of your moves in Lorcana. And the game actually starts to run out of steam a lot of times after like turn 4, turn 5. And then, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Lorcana, but Flesh and Blood, I think it's definitely, it's got a place in the kind of card game ecosphere going forward, and it will be a game that is here to stay. So anyway, we have not hit any hits yet. I'd actually check these ones out because this is actually the character I used to play was Boltyn. So V for Valor. It's a light warrior action. Destroy this charge. It's an aura. Destroy this. Charge your hero soul. Target attack is +1. That's kind of cool. So this is so Dusk Till Dawn put a supplemental set, so it's printing cards to go with characters. It's not introducing like new characters. It's like trying to. This is a way they balance the game too. Is they like, oh, Boltyn needs some help. Let's try this V for Valor to give it a different way to attack the meta. So I'll have to look at these. There's a light action too. So see if like my Boltyn deck gets a lot of upgrades, and this is what also keeps the game really interesting. Is these supplemental sets that can definitely, that's their way of, again, balancing the game. It's kind of cool, too, because you have the characters. So, I sort of feel like it's a commander deck that's specifically printing cards for your character. And there's our first M. So we have the Blessing of Salvation in the foil. That's our first foil rare. And the Hold the Line. So if the attacking hero has drawn 2 or more cards this turn, prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to your hero this turn. So if they've drawn, so this is kind of more of like a sideboard type defense reaction. It's a generic defense reaction. So you just play it if they've drawn 2 cards, basically. So you're not using it to defend. Okay, I understand it. So if you don't know how Flesh and Blood works, maybe I am speaking a different language here. But again, I highly encourage people to check this game out, as it is a really fun game to get into and trying to master. And that's the one warning, though, that I think is going to hold Flesh and Blood back, though, is this is a gamer's game. It isn't something that I think your ultra casuals can get into as much as they can, like the Pokemons, Lorcanas, and the Magics, because they're okay with the kind of being bad and collecting aspect of it. And whereas I guess Flesh and Blood could be very casual if you wanted it to be, but it is definitely more of a complex game. All right, so we get a triple rare pack with the Reality Refractor, and so far I'm gonna hit the 1 M out of this. And sales data is still really strong with Flesh and Blood. Again, they do have a map for what's called a manufacturer acceptable price for what you can sell, or you can advertise that you sell this product for. So if you're a patron, just reach out to me and I can tell you how much I can get these boxes for. But I do not sell, of course, online on like the TCG Player platforms. But the good thing about that is it does still make things very competitively. Ooh, we got good old Boltyn, Breaker of Dawn. Oh, so it's a new hero, huh? If you charge your attacks, you get +1 while defended by attacks. Oh, so it's the same thing. Okay, it's still the light hero warrior, right? This isn't like a new ability. That's still the same thing with Boltyn. Banish a card from bounce, so you have target attack with greater goats going. Yep, it's still the same thing. So they've kind of made some more of them. So we get another triple rare pack, but nothing else in there. So in this game, the rares are kind of like uncommons because you at least get 2 per pack. And then it depends on the set whether it's L's or M's. I don't know if they've got rid of L's. It's always weird. You have to like look at the set and see exactly the configuration of what is included in the set. But we have, man, there are a lot of light cards. So it looked like light was in here like crazy. Light and shadow. Yeah, light and shadow again is what with this. Oh, it does have earth actions. There's our M in foil, the Anthem of Spring, which is a Briar specialization. So it's specifically made for Briar. Cool. As well as the V for Valor in red. Destroy this charger hero's target attack. It's +3. Okay. It's like auras go out, right? You pay for them once, and then it has to be attack reaction. And then you have to pay for it there to destroy it. But you do get these auras stick on the board, correct? I really need to look how these work because again, it's been a while since I played this game. But some of these seem because that's what Boltyn wants to do. I don't know. So I'm getting into this like, oh, because this is the one thing I know about Flesh and Blood, so we'll talk about it, I guess. Is playing Boltyn. He was the dude that was back here that we opened. Was it a rare and I just kind of threw it to the side? Is there no tokens in this one either? So this is a set without tokens. So unfortunately, there it is. So this is the dude I play, is Boltyn. And he wants to set up big attacks, like these big combo-y attacks. So if you charge this turn, which is a lot of key mechanics on your card. So basically, he likes putting things into his soul, and that's what's considered charging it. And so if you charge your soul, your attacks get +1 while defended by an attack reaction. So there are cards that see all of these have little defense on the bottom here that you can use as defense cards. And if it's an action attack action like this one, so they defend with this one here against Boltyn, then it gets +1 from doing this. And a lot of Boltyn's cards, Boltyn's ability is if your attack has gained a greater attack than its original attack cost, so down here in the corner, then you can banish a card from your soul. So he charges up, and then he uses those charges to then get another attack. And so Boltyn likes to really combo off, so I'm wondering if these Aura cards are good to be proactive. Just throw an Aura card out, defend, throw an Aura card out, defend, and then go for like a big attack, and try to combo off. So again, there's a lot of back and forth in Flesh and Blood, and a lot of sequencing you need to do properly. And unfortunately, I think I was one of the problems with Flesh and Blood here is we were trying to learn Flesh and Blood. And I come from a long history of learning games and card games, so I pick up things, pretty quick. And I think everyone else was still learning, and I kind of mastered Boltyn before people. And I wasn't even like net decking. I was just playing with cards I had. But I don't think I ever even lost a game in Flesh and Blood for all the Blitz matches we did or all the tournaments we did. United we stand, and I think that might have burnt everyone out with it too. But again, we didn't have like our normal competitive players from Magic that were playing Flesh Blood. It was more of the casual players that wanted to try a new game. So we have United We Stand. When this defends together with a card from hand, if Boltyn is in your party. Oh yeah, they added party to this stuff too. So is this specifically for that like multiplayer format? Create a courage token under your control. Then repeat for Bravo and Seismic Surge, Briar. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure. I know they've added that multiplayer format. I don't know anyone that actually plays it. That's the thing. I think that they're really trying to find that, like, how do we get the casuals? How do we get Magic? Because Magic owes a lot of its success to Commander. And for a game that, doesn't have a Commander format, I think there, of course, going to be... Ooh, is this a cold foil? I think we got our cold foil. We got a cold foil in the Radiant Touch. Unfortunately, it is a common. So let's go ahead and find a perfect fit for this sucker. These things used to be insanely expensive. But the game, that was one of the problems with Flesh and Blood, is it got over-speculated, overhyped. It got Dutch tulipped before it had the ability to actually become a legitimate game. And then it led to speculation and overprinting. And it led to some massive price increases and then decreases. And you want like just a healthy natural growth for a game. And that's what Lorcana is going to struggle with too, because I think it's going through a similar process. That it's going to, inevitably they're going to have to overprint to meet this speculative demand. And then what that is going to lead to is there's going to lead to a lot of product coming back into the market. And then people are going to feel bad about their purchases and they're not going to want to purchase. And then that's going to hamstring the game. And every game has to go through that. And every game has to go through that multiple times. Like Magic and Pokemon are going through that again. But it really did affect Flesh and Blood for a while here of them trying to find that healthy medium of where they should print. But I lost my other train of thought, what I was talking about when we saw that. Cold foil? I'm not sure if you even get one per box anymore, if it's like one per case. So I picked a good one for you if that's the case. We got Expandable Limbs as another M, and the V for Valor. But, yeah. Again, Flesh and Blood is doing quite well with where they found that healthy medium. And now we have normal pricing. We don't have cold foils that are like ridiculously expensive. And like, I remember I opened up a card. Can't remember what it was. It was a legendary card from Monarch, and it was going for like $4,000 at the time, or something ridiculous. And I'm kicking myself because I never sold it. I had a couple offers of like $2,000, and I didn't take them because I'm like, oh, because it was still that speculative bubble that was happening with it, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get 50%ed off of this. But now it's like a $300 card, and it was the biggest warning. It should have been the biggest warning sign for me too, because I remember going to another store and they'd opened one, and then I went to another store and they'd seen one open. I'm like, okay, they're not that rare. If multiple people in my area, like these stores, like have opened them with, relatively speaking, not that amount of product. And so again, that's kind of the issue that we're having with like these Lorcana too, is these prices are not reflecting, like I like to call it Black Lotus prices without 30 years of accruing value. And Flesh and Blood really had to go through that. Warrior Weapon, the first time this is defended by a non-equipment, half the base of the defense. So it's a 4 attack weapon and a 3 attack cost with the Warrior, the Decimator Great Axe. It's kind of cool too. They keep creating these, like, the weapons have types, and they create like actions for weapon types. This deck has some really cool things that they can do in the future to spice it up. So again, I highly encourage people, if you have not tried Flesh and Blood, to give it a go. Hey, we got a Shadow Runeblade hero with Vincent Iron Maiden. So this is the only way to get these suckers too. So is there no Blitz version of this? This is just the classic. See, I haven't actually played a lot of classic either. I've played a lot of Blitz, but I have not played a lot of classic. And there's a lot of balancing issues that they balance for classic. They don't really balance for Blitz. And so Blitz has some pretty broken heroes for sure. Ram Raider. And we get another Starstruck. So this side of had all the M's. So we didn't have a lot of the M's at the first. And now we are starting to open them up. You guys can hear the tippity-tappity. We have Chloe coming up to say hi on our hardwood floor. Don't know if that picks up on the camera. All right. So a couple more packs in here. This has been a pretty good box for sure. Oh wow. This is a pretty good box, and then we open up an L as well. With the Soulbound Resolve, we'll go ahead and find a perfect fit to throw this sucker into. Soulbound Resolve. So a Light Warrior equipment. Oh, is this one I need for Boltyn? You just want to give this to me, Tabien? Because I need to get a good Light Warrior. So what does this do? When this defends, you may charge your hero's soul. That's pretty good. Put a card from your hand face up under your hero's card. And the first time you would be dealt damage each turn. If you charge this turn, prevent one of that damage. And then when the combat chain closes, you put a negative counter on it. So you can defend twice before it breaks. That is a pretty cool card. It looks like they went like all in on this set of like making Boltyn actually. But this isn't a new set, right? This is like Dawn Till Dusk was two back or what? I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get on to the next stuff here. Nothing. So, can't go wrong with a box that did get a cold foil and an L in them. Because I don't think do you get one per box for the L? I can't remember if that's the... Again, they change it up with every box. They keep people guessing. This is our last pack. And we got a bunch of nothing here. But that was a good box. That was an incredibly good box. So congratulations to you, my good friend. I think that it is definitely profitable. I don't have the prices pulled up in front of me, but it'd be interesting to see how much these go for. So that is my analysis of Flesh and Blood. If you do want to see more Flesh and Blood product openings, definitely give me a comment and a like on this. And again, I don't know how well this channel is going to start receiving these box openings. I just have a lot of patrons that do want me to open up product and showcase them. I guess you guys like hearing my hideous voice rant and rave and ramble about collectibles, about cards, and whatnot. So we'll see you in the next video where who knows what we'll be doing. Thanks for watching.